Is Lords of the Fallen playable on Steam Deck? Well, when it first came out, trying to play it on Steam Deck was harder than trying to wipe my ass with a cactus while parallel parking. I'm Dan Opus, and this is Dex Play, the channel where we play PC games on Steam Deck to see how well they run, and if the game's even good enough for you to want to play it in the first place. Here we have Lords of the Fallen, which was the perfect name for it when it first came out, because at first, this game felt pretty short, and it was falling apart while you played it. From walls disappearing on Steam Deck, to various glitches that would spawn in more times than you would spawn in from dying. Ironically, the glitches impacted the difficulty in an unfun and unfair way. It got to the point where I walked away from the game and made a rant video on this same channel 8 months ago. But how about now? Does this game run on deck? Yeah, they fixed it. They fixed everything. And now it runs on deck at 60 FPS on low graphic settings. There you go. Now you can go and click off the video, or you can stay and see how does it play. Well, since you asked, I'd be happy to talk about how it plays. It's difficult to compare this game to other Soulsborne games. It looks like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, so it wears its inspiration on its sleeves, yet somehow still turned out to be unique. Besides from getting a lantern that warps you between two different dimensions in real time, you can use that same lantern to use the Force and become a Jedi. Just joking. That was actually one of the glitches I was talking about before. But that glitch is a good one. That one is my favorite one. But don't tell the other glitches. They might get jealous. The combat is a little faster than the average Soulsborne. This game is like the Smash Melee of Soulsborne games. That may sound like it takes away from the deliberate combat Soulsborne is known for, and that's because it kinda does, but they added a mechanic that allows you to charge your attacks and string them with your fast attacks. It's a combo system in a Soulsborne game, and it is necessary to learn because if you constantly use fast attacks, enemies will tank your ass, and if you constantly charge attacks, the enemies will kick you in the nuts. Enemies vary depending on which dimension you're in, and there's two different dimensions between all locations. This part of the game is still something I'm iffy about, the biomes. They didn't fix this part of the game because unlike the bugs, it had nothing to do with being underbaked. Or maybe it did. The locations in this game feel too big to the point where each place feels like a labyrinth, even though half the game takes place outside. And that wouldn't be so bad if these maps you find in each area didn't look like a kindergartner doodle that you put on your refrigerator door. Look at this, I can't read this. I don't even know what this is saying. What am I looking at? I even tried using a guide online to read what's supposed to be a guide in the game, and that didn't work either. So this game isn't perfect, which is fine. Neither was Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Baldur's Gate 3, Chrono Trigger, Elden Ring, or The Witcher 3. Yet these games, just to name a few, are considered legendary. So what stops Lords of the Fallen from being up there with the greats? Well, for one, all those games have maps you could read. This is probably the biggest flaw of the game though, thankfully. It's not like you normally get maps in Soulsborne games anyway, so I won't keep bashing Lords of the Fallen for this one little thing. However, it would have made the game a lot better if it had full detailed maps because of how massive each biome is. Regardless, I'm not a fan of most of the locations I've been to because exploring doesn't feel as satisfying as it does in games like Dark Souls 3, Remnant 2, or even the original Demon Souls. There are cool secrets to find, and some of the best equipment have interesting methods of getting them. I just wish they made each map smaller and focused more on detail and secrets, because the environment is one of the most important elements that make a great Soulsborne. Some people call it environmental storytelling. I call it don't make the fucking map boring. Now for the most part, they definitely improved the game, like I said in the beginning. But I'd also be lying if I said there's no more glitches. Like this one right here, where it says I've been playing for 150 hours. And then if you go to my Steam page, it says I've been playing for 60 hours. Now I'm no math genius, but math ain't mathing. It is a minor glitch though, so not a big deal. Just putting it out there that there's little things like that. But for the most part, they did clean up the game impressively. One of my favorite features in this game that I cannot recall being in any other Soulsborne is you can dye your armor sets. Yeah. Now this may sound like whatever, but when you think about it, you get a lot of cool armor sets in Soulsborne games. So you always have thousands of people wearing the same armor set as you when you play online or whatever. So a lot of people look similar. In this game, because you can dye your armor sets, You can look unique and stand out even though you're wearing the same armor set. Every game has something good about it, even bad games. There are actually some games that are really bad, but they have one fantastic feature. One feature in this game that they really improved, not just in the game, the whole genre of Soulsborne, is multiplayer. The multiplayer in this game is top tier. If you are familiar with Elden Ring, or any FromSoft game, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, you would know that multiplayer is mediocre at best. The only real cool thing about multiplayer in Soulsborne games is you can leave notes for other people in other worlds, which I think inspired Death Stranding because there's a very similar mechanic in that game where whatever a player does in their world affects another player's world, right? So that's the cool part about the multiplayer in Soulsborne games. But for the most part, the dog shit. Well, enter Lords of the Fallen. They pulled off something that FromSoft has yet to do and made a good co-op. Yeah, if you played Elden Ring's seamless co-op mod on PC, you have an idea of how good co-op is in Lords of the Fallen. If you did not use the mod in Elden Ring and just play co-op as it was intended, then you know exactly what I mean when I say that Soulsborne games usually have shitty multiplayers. Lords of the Fallen is the complete opposite. The game puts an emphasis on multiplayer, despite the fact that it's mainly a solo game. Joining games is much easier. The person that's playing with you can go anywhere with you. It's not just certain boss battles. The best part of it all is the person who's joining you doesn't lose their souls when they die. So they can go scout ahead and check the area out, since you know you don't have a fucking map. What you don't need a map for is to see how much better this game is compared to when it first launched. If I could sum it up in one whole sentence, it would be, well, hop tour on my banana and lube it up. They pulled a No Man's Sky with this game. Did a 180 and made this game really good. Would I recommend this game on deck? If you are a true Soulsborne fan, then yeah. Otherwise, I'd get it on like PS5 or something, or a nice PC, because there is a bit of compromise playing on deck compared to most games that are playable on deck, but they definitely clean it up. It plays a lot better on deck and in general compared to over a year ago. Anyway, if you liked this video, a playlist is gonna pop up on your screen in like 15 seconds. And your phone will snitch on me whenever I upload a new video if you subscribe. Okay? Thank you for watching Dex Play.